Hello, my name's Ashley Green, the Mind Reader, and today we're joined by my good friend Aidan O'Sullivan. Honestly, if you have not seen last week's video, Aidan did we've come from just filming that, and I'm still fried by it. It's the age-old which hand is a coin in, but Aidan literally blew my mind. So if you haven't seen that already, then click the link. Today I brought Aidan on again to this YouTube channel because obviously we're going on tour together. We're traveling around the UK, various different locations, and you guys are going to get to see the things that I do and also the things that Aidan does. The show is kind of like the psychologist and the psychic coming together using both of their skill sets to ultimately get inside your head and reveal thoughts about you. So it's a super interesting show with some fantastic concepts and interesting moments, but I don't want to say any more and I don't want to give the game away because I know you guys are going to love it. As always, if you're interested in that, sign up to the mailing list in the description. But Aidan knows why he's here, and that is because essentially I'm just going to ask you, buddy, a few questions about yourself, and then the audience, the viewers, the people who are going to be coming to our show will know a little bit more about you and go from there, really. So why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? Who is Aidan?
Oh God, that's a deep question to start with. Who am I? Oh, I don't even know myself. Jeez. My name is Aidan. I perform under my normal name, but my branding is Aidan the Wizard. You can find me on any social media platform there by searching Aidan the Wizard. As Ashley mentioned, I'm a sort of psychological performer. I've come from a background of magic, hypnosis, pickpocketing. I kind of blended that all up with psychology and entered the world of mind reading, and that's pretty much what I do now. I do a lot of stage work and I don't know, is there anything else that you feel?
Oh, there we go. So that's Aidan O'Sullivan. I'll see you next week for Q&A Sundays. Easy as that. No, why don't you elaborate? Because if the people who have seen the last video of you that was on this channel, they know that you can literally look at people and just read them, like down to the silly. I've still got all the things we're playing with, but I'll hold a coin up because it's easier to see. Like I hid a coin in a hand, you could just tell where it is. Like, it's fascinating because I know there's magicians out there who do like tricks in regards to this, but it's like you've almost traded the tricks away and you're no longer doing magic. Like, you're actually taking psychology and using that in an entertaining way. Like, how did that all come about?
So you said something interesting there that I kind of want to go against. The idea there that you said that I'm trading the magic for psychology, and in fact I would argue that what I'm doing is that I'm trading the tricks for magic, and I'm actually beautiful. what I'm able to do with my sort of psychological background and my knowledge of psychology. It means that when I'm performing, I don't have to rely on a trick. I don't have to rely on a method. I can just rely on my own ability, my genuine ability to do these things. And it means that I can do it wherever, whenever, for whoever. There's no sort of pressure on that. But it's something that I've always been fascinated with. It's something that I fell in love with ages ago, years and years ago. It's one of the reasons I sort of first started. Again, we'd speak about this in the first episode of our podcast. But I've just been fascinated with psychology and more interested in the sort of practical elements, the stuff that I can actually observe and the stuff that I can see and get actually sink my teeth into, kind of thing. And I sort of applied that to magic, and now again, as you mentioned, I just play these games and these actual mind reading tricks. I do them with psychology wherever I can, and just I think it keeps me on my toes. I think it helps embellish the whole performance for the audience perspective, because if I'm really into it, and it's that age-old thing, if you really believe what you're doing, your audience will too. Yeah. But for me, I've got no option but to believe in what I'm doing, because what I believe I'm doing, I am doing. So it's fun, it's interesting.
Which is insane. Like, do you ever get people... well, there's two things I wanted to mention from what you said. One about like psychology and mindset, but very quickly, do you ever get people who see what you do and like you are literally just relying on I don't know, their tells, their body language, whatever psychological things you get from people. Do you ever get people just come up and say, "What's the trick?"
Yep, all the time. How are you doing it?
It must be like...
Go on,
that must be so weird. Like,
Yeah,
when you're
it's so...
doing it for real and people just assume, that's a magic trick. That's got to be so weird.
I see. The thing is, people don't believe it's a trick, because again, this is something that the way I present it, I am presenting it as is. And again, in the Witch Hand game, in my sort of normal presentations that I do on stage and up close, not what I showed last week, but my normal presentations, I teach you how to play the game. I'm literally explaining the rules and explaining the process and what's going on in my head, so that I don't even need to be looking at the participant before I tell the entire audience exactly where the coin is. I then look around and point it out. And in that situation, it's not a trick. But I do get the occasional person, obviously, like, "Oh, go on, how are you doing it? How are you doing it?" I'm telling you, I'm being honest, I'm telling you. But that's a minority. It's a presentational thing. I try and keep it honest where I can.
Yeah, I just think it's so cool. And psychology is not something you just stick to in other things like performance, especially, but you do a lot of stuff with mindset as well. Like, you're able to take what you've learnt about human behaviour and the way we think, and you applied it to yourself. You've literally helped me out quite a lot in terms of getting myself organised and various different things. So tell us a little bit more about your kind of obsession with that.
Yeah, I think you've worded it quite right. It is a bit of an obsession. I think it's something that we should all be obsessed with, and that's ourselves. It's going to sound selfish, but the best thing that you can possibly do in your own life is to be good at being yourself and be good at doing your life. Because then you're able to go on autopilot and you're able to help other people. And that's genuinely something I believe in. I think that rather than trying to do the next best thing for ourselves, what we should be doing is we should be looking outwardly to helping and supporting other people as much as we can. I can't remember who exactly the quote is from, but there's the age-old quote that your life is not about you, and I believe that. So I look a lot into mindset so that I can sort of hack my own life, if you like. So when I'm working, I'm able to jump into a flow state to really get the most out of it. So I'm able to go into deeper levels of concentration. I'm able to go into deeper levels of my mind to be able to do these things. And again, this is psychology, the brain waves and the all of that stuff, which again people can message and find out a bit more about. But just Google it; it's fine.
So have you got any places where people can look into this stuff about psychology and all that mindset stuff?
So I'll be honest, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for just some interesting psychology to just in a magical perspective, there are some books out there that you can go and have a look. I would genuinely just recommend, if it's something that you're interested in, just do the research. Spend the time always Googling and having a look at things. But if you're looking into sort of the more personal growth and improving your own sort of mindset and your own attitude and the things that you're doing, I would highly recommend heading over to the Mindvalley platform. I've been with Mindvalley for a couple of years now, and it's just fantastic. Their ability to transform everybody that joins their programs, it's just brilliant, and I can't recommend it more.
Yeah, I mean, you speak so highly of Vision. I just started listening to the podcast, and I just signed up for like a free 5-day productivity course, which I'm going to be cracking on with after we've done a little bit of work on the Successful Mentalist this afternoon. So I can't wait. But it's so fascinating, like how, I guess, I mean, I like psychology and I've been obsessed with it for a while, but I know nothing when it's like compared to you. But I just find it so interesting.
I still know nothing.
Because the weird thing is, when you start researching into stuff, you start realizing that there's so much more that you don't know. So you feel like you don't know anything, which is weird. Like, because when you're uneducated about a topic, you think, oh yeah, I know everything. And then as soon as you start to educate yourself, you're like, I know nothing. There's so much to learn. There's a weird concept, that, isn't it? But so yeah, strange. I mean, there's so much, and I find it interesting how people, like, how similar they think as well, and I think you kind of displayed that last week in the Witch Hand game, which is
when I'm doing that, I'm open and honest, and I'm saying that most people will do again, that first round is, it's always, I play that on the statistics. just to get a gauge of the person. Like, most people place it in their dominant hand. And if you was going to do, like, people watching, if you want to just do this, like get a friend or a family member or somebody to just hide a coin in one of their hands, take a punt at their dominant hand. It's usually the right hand for most people. There's a couple of lefties out there that you might encounter. Maybe you are a lefty yourself, who knows? But most people will place it in the right hand or their dominant hand to start with. So that's
there's a little bonus people can take away of them.
Bonus takeaway.
Well, thank you so much for obviously coming on and letting me take time out of your hectic schedule to interview you today for everyone watching. Is there anything else you want to add and anything else you want to chuck in on the back of this to say?
No, I just really... what I'm passionate about at the minute is looking into my own personal growth so that I'm able to be the best person that I can be, so that I can be that best person for other people. And I seriously think that as an entire planet or species or whatever it is, without going too deep into the philosophy and the psychology and stuff, I think we need to start thinking more. And we think quite a bit, but we don't think deep enough, and that's what I would encourage. And it's something that we encourage over at the Successful Mentalist. We're really pushing these deeper levels of thinking, because when you get to these deeper levels of thinking, that's when everything slots into place. And again, I can talk from my own perspective on that. You can talk as well, Ashley, because I know that you've been thinking a lot deeper and you've had some like breakthroughs because of that. But it's something that I could not encourage more.
Yeah, definitely. And seeing as you've mentioned the Successful Mentalist, if you are a magician or mentalist or you want to get into mentalism, I'd highly recommend it. We have a free podcast. Well, I mean, we've got loads of stuff for free. We've got our school with a couple of members in, which, if you're watching this now, you missed out on applications, but stay tuned, sign up to the Successful Mentalist mailing list. You might find out when there's another chance to apply to our school. But yeah, if you are, you don't want to miss our podcast, so click the link. It's titled Magicians and Mentalists. Click here, and then it's like www.thesuccessfulmentalist.com, our website. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's little interview with Aidan. If you enjoyed it, if you have any questions about psychology, just leave a little comment below. If there's anything you want to talk about, again, whack it in the comments. And unless anything you want to say, Aidan, then I'll wrap up.
No, I mean, if you've got these questions, just drop them in the comments of Ashley's video. I'll have a little sneak peek in the comments from time to time as well. But in the meantime, if you want to chat to me, again, you'll find me at Aidan the Wizard everywhere, and just that's it.
There we go.
Shameless plug. Straight in there at the end.
Love it. On that note, I'll see you guys soon, and don't forget that on Sundays we are filming Q&A Sundays, so if you want to send off your question, now is your chance, and I'll answer that on Sunday, as the name suggests. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.